Hey everyone, welcome to another bonus video. This is now June 12th, 2014, I know. Anyway, I did want to finish up, of course, my E3 thing, so I wanted to do Sony and Nintendo. I did the two last night yesterday, and then I was just like, oh my god, like I was exhausted from talking so much. So I wanted to make sure that my mind was kind of like fresh for everything. So I know they're late. They were already late to begin with. So let's get going with Sony. They finished up the night on Monday. And there was a lot of hype here because Microsoft showed all games. It was like, what was Sony going to present here for their E3 conference? Anyway, they kicked it off with okay, yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I just want to make sure I get the exact right game first, right? Of course. Anyway, Destiny was super hyped this year. Now, this is the new game from Bungie. So it's like their first game since leaving Microsoft, and stopped working on the Halo game. So this is technically the new game that's, from Bungie. This is technically the new Halo, in a lot of sense. They're doing a whole new world, whole new things, whole new creatures, all that. But even watching the narrative trailer, which does show elements of gameplay, you're getting the sense that it has very much a Halo influence on this. So fans immediately of that are already super excited. This is going to be a big name title. They're launching stuff for Destiny on the PlayStation first. Like, Sony is gung-ho on this thing. They are promoting the crap out of it. In fact, they're even doing a white Destiny PS4. We're going to be getting the game and the system all in one. Like, it is absolutely huge. Like, if Microsoft was really touting that Call of Duty is getting stuff first on the one, Sony's doing the same thing, but talking about Destiny, which should be a big, huge hit as far as sales. Like, it's getting a lot of hype. So we're going to see what's going on with that. They're doing a beta for Destiny next month for those who would be interested and all. Of course, this is once again one of the shooters. I'm going to check it out because it is brand new, so I don't have any pre-existing and there's no pre-existing condition here for me, to not like it, even though it is a multiplayer-based shooter. In the end, I want to see what else the game presents. How does it play? Is it a lot of fun? And who knows? I may get into it, I may not. In the end, it's going to get a lot of hype no matter what. Next, we actually saw gameplay for the Order 1886. Now, this is one of those games that has been super hyped since the PS4 launch. This is originally being talked of as being a PS4 launch title, or at least in the launch window, aka the first few months after the launch of the system, but nothing materialized, and then they pushed the game back. Then they pushed it back, again, and now it's not coming out until next year, and we hadn't even seen gameplay yet. They released a cinematic trailer a few weeks ago, and now they're finally showing kind of gameplay here at E3, and I'm sure since then there's been probably maybe some more stuff at E3 shown for it. Really cool looking game. It has, it's very... there's some BioShock element that you're kind of getting, I feel, in it that could possibly be with, your Van Helsing. It's a shooter, yes, but and it's kind of funny because there's another game coming that we'll be talking about later that also reminded me kind of like the concept of a Van Helsing type thing. A very monster-oriented werewolf, vampire type thing. I'm not sure exactly what they are, and I apologize if they're vampires or werewolves or both or something else altogether. The character looks cool, the models look good, the game looks beautiful. Of course, hopefully that's what we're going to end up getting when we do get our hands on the game, when it does finally come out, which is not until next year, unfortunately. But the game looks, it's going to be one of those ones I'm going to be getting day one. I've been waiting for this game for a while. This one and Dying Light, which was not shown here at the conference at all. It's another game that's been hyped a lot for near the launch of the system, but not seeing anything else on that. We don't know exactly, though, how much of Order 1886 that was shown is cutscene over gameplay or vice versa, so we have a little bit to wait for, but it's definitely intriguing. It's definitely a game I'm very much excited for. Then they showed another game after that called Entwined, which is a new game that it's kind of a rhythm-esque game. It's really cool looking, where you're using a fish and a bird, kind of. I know it sounds like orange and blue, and they kind of move together and can come together, and you use them on two different tracks. Now the game actually is already launched. It launched immediately on the PlayStation 4 right after they announced it. It was really cool that there's like, hey, look, here's this cool thing that we're putting up on PSN, and bam, it's already out. Go get it. Go check it out right now. And I haven't actually seen the reviews for it. I've been, like I said, these last couple days since E3 and everything else, it's just been a hell of a week. I haven't had a lot of chance to look at some of the other really cool stuff, but it seemed really cool. They also showed the DLC for Infamous First Light, which is a standalone DLC for Infamous Second Son, which I've always kind of been like, well, if it's standalone, is it really DLC then? It's its own game at that point, right? It's kind of its own game. Far Cry did this. Ubisoft did this with Far Cry 3 Blood Dragons. An amazing standalone DLC, but it's kind of like, it's because it's standalone, it's its own title. Anyway, that's what they're doing. And basically what standalone means is you don't need the original game in order to enjoy this DLC, which, like I said, it kind of makes it its own title altogether at that point. But it looks cool. You're playing as a female character in this one, so this is the first time in an Infamous game you're going to be controlling a female main character. And the whole thing with the Neon Conduit, I've only played a little bit of all the Infamouses. I've never Infamousies. I don't even know what I'm doing there. But I've only played a little bit of all of them. I've never actually beaten them. I've actually seen other people beat all three of the Infamous games that are out. But I've actually personally never beaten any of them. But this one actually really looks cool, and maybe actually watch me end up playing this one first over any of the other ones. Then a pretty cool exclusive reveal, Little Big Planet 3. We knew eventually they were going to bring Little Big Planet to the PlayStation 4. They had already brought it to the Vita, and they already, of course, have multiple games on the 3. And as a lot of people actually say, the Vita version is considered one of the best versions of Little Big Planet that has come out. And the big hype for this one is new character types. It's not just Sackboy. You're having this larger guy who can do different things and actually can shrink as well. You have a dog-like character now, and you have a bird character that can fly, and they're all going to be customizable, I'm sure, just like all the Sackboys are. Another cool thing is all the custom-made levels from like all the other Little Big Planet stuff, or at least Little Big Planet 2 for PS3, will be compatible immediately with the PlayStation 4 version of the game. It's kind of weird that that's going to happen, but they're going to be able to do that. So you're going to have plenty of content, hours and hours and thousands of hours of content for Little Big Planet 3 when it first comes out. And there's going to be a lot of cool stuff here. If you're a fan of these games already, you're probably like immediately like foaming at the mouth to get a chance to play the new Little Big Planet. And I've always said that these games are a lot of fun. They're cool platformers, and they're especially fun to play with friends. And I've always loved the costumes and stuff like that. They're saying a lot of the content will be available immediately, so I don't know if they're allowing you to use some of the DLC costumes or some of the other costume stuff from the previous games. I doubt it because of licensing. But hopefully they release a good amount of cool licensed stuff. I loved playing as like my Solid Snake Sackboy, or play as Kratos, or play as the Muppets, I think even had things. Like, there's all kinds of crazy character available for Sackboy. So it'll be cool to see that kind of stuff brought over to the 4, and also now for these other cool characters that they're adding to the game. So thumbs up, definitely going to be interesting. I'm sure my friends and myself will be getting it, so definitely a fun multiplayer game. Okay, what's next? Oh, here's another big one. This is Bloodborne. Now, this game originally had been kind of hyped as something, I think it was called Project Beast, and it was just kind of announced and wasn't really being talked about a whole lot. And anyway, this game looks really cool, and it's being done by the creator of Dark Souls. But it's a whole new thing because the guy who created Dark Souls, was it Miyazaki or something like that? I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher names here. Yeah, it is Miyazaki. Okay, I was just double checking. Anyway, he created Dark Souls, but did not return for Dark Souls 2. Instead, he's been working on Project Beast, and so that's what's coming out now. And it looks like a really, really cool game. Actually intrigues me even more so than something like Dark Souls, just to be honest. So it's still a long way off. It's not coming out to 2015, but the teaser trailer was definitely worth checking out. Then they moved on to Far Cry 4. They showed actual gameplay footage this time around for Far Cry 4. It looks very reminiscent of the main system and mechanics from Far Cry 3. There's more vehicle types, it looks like now, in this one. A little bit more stuff to do overall. And of course, graphically, and it's in a different setting. nothing really blown away here with the Far Cry 4 gameplay, but cool to actually see it, and see what we're going to kind of be getting into a little bit more than just the kind of the story narrative trailer that they had shown earlier in the day at Ubisoft. So cool thing. Then they did a Dead Island 2 trailer, which the trailer is awesome. It's funny. It gets the point across of everything in the whole zombie pandemic and all this stuff. They do good. I'll give Deep Silver and whoever the creators of Dead Island credit. They make amazing trailers. They do. Dead Island's still one of my favorite trailers ever. I've talked about this before, but I couldn't stand the game. So I'm not really hyped for this one. If it turns out that this game is vastly different from Dead Island 1, and improves things and makes things more interesting and just does all these things better, that makes me actually want to go out and get it, maybe I will give this one actually a full-blown legit chance, but I'm going to have to wait to see even more from this. But definitely, just like trailers in general, check it out. It's a cool trailer. Definitely a cool trailer. Give them full credit for that. Yeah, there's also some weird DLC they then announced, that Diablo 3, will have the enemies from The Last of Us are going to be added to Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition. Kind of weird to do that, but it's Last of Us content, kind of, to a degree, so it's cool because it's Last of Us. Other than that, I'm not really going to be getting it because I'm not a huge Diablo 3 fan. They're also they talked about the Battlefield Hardline demo, and also talking about Disney Infinity, the new Marvel content apparently is going to be going to the PS3 and the PS4. And then Destiny itself will be getting an exclusive multiplayer map and stuff. And then they showed Magicka 2. Okay. I never really played the first Magicka. I just know of it because I constantly would see it pop up when looking for other stuff, but definitely not really into that. So, but the next announcement was cool, and that is that they kind of doing this thing with letters and all, showing letters from fans, and they had this letter that was it was funny and supposed to be from a little girl, but obviously they didn't show that it was from Tim Schafer. And Tim Schafer is an awesome video game creator, and of course the creator of Grim Fandango, which they are remaking for the PlayStation 4 and the Vita as well. I think is getting a version of it. Tim Schafer doesn't get, like, if you've never played some of his other games, they're definitely, of course, worth checking out. He worked on, like, the Monkey Islands and Full Throttle. He worked on The Cave and just a whole bunch of other cool stuff. Brutal Legend, Psychonauts. Psychonauts alone, I would have been happier with the Psychonauts remake, technically, but I really did love Brutal Legend. It's a game that you can find for like $2 at any GameStop now. It's worth checking out. If you did not play Brutal Legend at any point on your PS3 or your Xbox 360, I don't know if it was on PC at all, I don't think it was. But if it was, check it out. Well, no matter what, check out Brutal Legend. Give it a little bit of a shot. Give it a little bit of love. It was an interesting game. It was a cool atmosphere, cool world. It was different. Had a lot of cool voice acting, good music. If you're into metal at all, and I'm not talking about like current metal, like classic heavy metal music. As well as it had a unique system, the RTS style system with the action elements. Brutal Legend was cool. It definitely deserved a better sales than it ended up getting. They then showed kind of an indie showcase type thing where they showed a whole lot of games that are coming to the PSN, a lot of which are on multi-consoles like Broforce or Hotline Miami 2 and some other stuff. But they then showed some stuff for No Man's Sky, which is a game that's getting a little bit of hype. It's a very cool atmosphere. It's a space travel game, and it's this really cool kind of like orange grass and stuff. Like, it's futuristic color, sci-fi whole thing. But the game generates worlds for you. Like, it's not every person will experience a different world. It will randomly generate kind of the thing. So, if this comes out and executed extremely well, it will be an extremely intriguing game. And like I said, because of the trailers and stuff they were showing, it's definitely getting some buzz. Yeesh, yeah, the PlayStation camera. They talked about the PlayStation camera a little bit. And then they talked about Project Morpheus, some, which I also don't remember them. What exactly was Project Morpheus they were talking about? That's what they're doing with the virtual reality. That's the Oculus Rift stuff. I was like, I couldn't remember what the hell it was. Yes, the Oculus Rift stuff, that can go ahead and whatever. Okay, I was just looking for anything else that was cool. They didn't talk about a bunch of numbers for YouTube and blah, and new sets for Playroom. Then they talked about some free-to-play games coming to PSN. Free-to-play just means pay to win. So I'm not really, usually that's what it equates to. So I'm not very interested in anything with free-to-play. They talked about the PlayStation Now service, which will be a direct streaming service for video games. They didn't go into super amount of details for it. They're also doing the PlayStation TV, which will allow you to play, like, just on a Sony-branded TV and stuff. You'll be able to immediately play games on it as long as you have a DualShock 3 controller. You'll be able to do this stuff. So then they moved on to just all that's cool. You can check it out. Nothing really exciting for me. They then talked about another game, good, awesome, Mortal Kombat 10. And they decided to go different than I was initially expecting. And it's called Mortal Kombat X, is what they're focusing on, not called Mortal Kombat 10. But they showcased not only your classic characters, but they also showcased brand new characters as well. There's also more information that has come out since that there is a new character, Casey Cage, who's the daughter of Sonya and Johnny Cage, which is just awesome. The other couple of main new characters they did showcase are cool-looking characters. So I'm just kind of surprised that they didn't kind of like... They hinted at the end, and spoilers for Mortal Kombat 9, they hinted at the end of Mortal Kombat 9 that they were going to be moving on to, like, bringing in... If you don't know, Mortal Kombat 9 retold the stories of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3. And while still staying true to the actual storyline. It didn't retcon anything. It kind of just advanced the story by a whole time paradox type thing. Like, they went back in time to kind of fix things, basically. And anyway, at the end of that, Shinnok shows up, who was the main villain of Mortal Kombat 4. So it was an assumption that Mortal Kombat 10 was going to retell maybe 4, 5, and 6, which 6 is my favorite game probably in the whole series, which was Deception. So I thought maybe that's what they were going to be going for in this. But it looks like they're going to be doing something different, new characters, new whole thing. There's a lot more that we're going to have to wait and see as far as any real big details. That's kind of the small things. I'm hyped. I loved Mortal Kombat 9. I've always been a fan of Mortal Kombat. So there's only been a couple games that I don't really like. Armageddon versus DC Universe, though. Injustice is cool. DC Universe, I'm not a big fan of that. And then they talked about they're actually doing original series now. For the PlayStation Network, like actual shows, and they're doing one called Powers, which is based on the Marvel graphic novel, which I have heard of but never read. So I'm intrigued by this. The fact that they're kind of going Netflix original style for stuff for the PSN is interesting. Will it work? If the shows are good, no matter what, it will work. If the shows and quality of everything is good, and I think Sony looks to be banking and hoping that this stuff works. So. A+, we'll see what happens. Not really gaming related, so some people will kind of put off that they're doing this. They also then talked about they're doing the Ratchet & Clank movie, which it is intriguing to see that if it's turned out, they're doing an animated movie for Ratchet & Clank, so it could be good. Most video games, the movies suck. Maybe this one will be at least entertaining, because it's actually also animated, so that's at least a bonus that's going to be an animated feature. Then Last of Us Remastered. And I have very much been looking forward to this because I already love Last of Us. Yes, it's just a port for the PS3 to the PS4 for Last of Us. Not that huge of a deal to many people. And if you already bought it on PS3, a lot of people will be like, why do I gotta buy it again for PS4? You don't have to. It's so that people that love the game, want to experience it with slightly little tweaks and stuff like that, and DLC and little things, can get to experience and love the game all over again that we loved last year. And for those who didn't buy it on the PS3 to finally get a chance to play it. And now you can play it on your newest system, with the little bonuses and all that already thrown in. It's like, they're also doing this with GTA 5, is getting a port over to the newer consoles. So, once again, it's one of those things where you don't have to. There's no, like, need. There's nothing, I don't know how much there's going to be new, if anything, really, to this version that's not available in the other versions of the other version of the game. It's just a bonus. So, take it for what it was. I'll be getting it, because Last of Us was my favorite game of last year. Okay. Then, finally, the big one, as far as I'm concerned, the new trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain. Now, this did leak the night before, so a lot of people got to see it. I heard it leaked. I personally didn't watch it because I knew I was going to get to see it again during Sony's conference. Or I assumed it was going to be during Sony's conference. So I did not check it out at that point. But give me the game, give me the game, give me the game. Like, can I just put it at that? Huge Metal Gear Solid fan, of course. I've talked about this before, and I can't wait to get my hands on this. Plus, it's such a pivotal game in the story of Metal Gear, because it's the whole thing with Big Boss, and it just is a culmination of like the missing piece of time. That as we follow the storyline for the Metal Gear Solid games, there's that big chunk that we were missing. And Ground Zeroes combined with this, with Phantom Pain, mainly Phantom Pain, we're going to get those answers, or at least get to live that aspect. And that's a really cool thing, and it looks beautiful, and it's going to be amazing. Doesn't matter. So to me, it can do no wrong. It looks cool. GTA 5 coming finally to PC, Xbox One, and PS4. So they are finally doing the PC version that everyone was kind of like clamoring that they're getting their hands on. And we got to look at some stuff for Arkham Knight, Batman Arkham Knight, which I was already super hyped for anyway. But unfortunately, it got delayed, and this was announced a couple weeks prior to E3, or a week or so prior to E3. So I already knew it was getting delayed, but it was cool to see nonetheless. And then last but not least, Uncharted 4 was announced. And not the hugest Uncharted fan. I've actually only played and beaten one of the entire series of Uncharted games. But I know there's a lot of fans out there for him, and it's one of the series I should probably give more of a chance to. I do own them. I do own them all. I just I haven't played any of them really, other than the first one. So I need to go back and I need to kind of like play all the Uncharted. It's kind of one of those things that I've been neglecting. Then again, also, and it's not the first time in a series that I waited till 3 or 4 games into a series was out, and then I finally gave it a shot. But I do need to do that, so I know a lot of people were hyped about that. The coolest thing, though, actually, was like the next day, they showed like the trailer side by side with the opening to Crash Bandicoot 1, and it's actually very similar to like just the very opening cutscene that Crash 1, so it's like, yeah, awesome. Like, why are we even comparing these two things other than people want Crash? So there you go, Sony. Where is Crash? We want a new Crash. And anyway, that's just a funny little thing. You can find the picture online, I'm sure of that. But, cool trailer. So, like I said, a lot of people hyped. Not a huge amount of things. Now, granted, was there more in some of the other conferences, over Sony's that I liked better? That I'm more hyped for? Probably. But I still think Sony showed a lot of good stuff here. I mean, just getting to see more from Metal Gear 5. I mean, no really huge announcement during Sony's thing. The Last Guardian, which had been getting a lot of press the last week because IGN said it was canceled, and then they said it wasn't. Now, Sony said it wasn't canceled, and now it's, but we didn't see anything for Last Guardian at E3, so it's still just in that limbo that it's never gonna freaking come out. It would have been nice to have seen something. There's also some other stuff I wanted to see that we didn't get to see at E3, but it wasn't really through Sony. And that was mainly other companies, but I was kind of watching Sony's thing, crossing fingers and hoping some of these other things would show up, whether it be an RE7 or Fallout 4 or the Red Dead Redemption 2 or some other stuff as well. But I got to see some cool stuff. Finally got to see some gameplay for Order 1886. And got to see some more stuff for Far Cry 4. So really nothing super amazing. Not even really a whole lot of exclusive stuff for the PS4. But a couple of cool games. At least 4 or 5 things shown I definitely will be getting. So anyway, guys, that will wrap up my thoughts on Sony's E3 press conference. I will be back very soon with Nintendo's thoughts. Or my thoughts on Nintendo. There we go. I'd like to thank you for watching. Of course, I hope you enjoyed.